I'm Greg, and you're listening to Totally Preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable. Totally preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Hey, Polly.
What's up?
This is part 3, the trilogy today.
Holy cow, part 3. Have we even had anyone on twice before besides Lisa?
We have not. We should probably do a check-in.
I know a couple people who'd like to be on again.
Yeah. We've got so many people in prevention that need to be on here.
Yeah, they all need to be heard.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. A lot of great organizations doing a lot of great work, including this one,
Yeah.
Center for Online Safety.
Yep, great. We can't hear enough about keeping kids safe online.
That's right. And we're going to
And
be talking
adults, too.
about, that's true. That's true. I myself need to be safe online. So today we're going to be talking about AI. And, you know, it's a hot topic. It's what we think is new and innovative and creative. Could also be used for good or bad, unfortunately. So hopefully Lisa's going to give us a little more info on how we could stay safe and how we can keep our kids safe.
Good. Awesome. Can't wait to
Alright.
hear.
Without further ado. And today joining us on the Totally Preventable podcast for part 3. This is great. For part 3, we have Lisa Honold from the founder of Center for Online Safety joining us again today. Lisa, how are you?
I am doing well. It's good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
For the hat trick, right?
That's
Is
right.
Is that the third?
That's right. Magic number 3. Every conversation has definitely been an eye-opener. We all come back from our podcast learning more and more. Being the founder of Center for Online Safety, we're going to you as our guru for everything online. And today, we can't even talk about online without talking about AI. So we are coming to you to get some clarification for our parents, our listeners, and our viewers, and or hopefully that you can give us a lot of info about this ongoing new craze and new trend that I think is going to be here for a while.
Yeah, this is going to be a great conversation and really timely because that's all everyone's talking about. You know, Chat GPT came onto the market and really blew us back in terms of what it can do and how prevalent it is now in conversations and also in concerns for how especially youth can use it.
Very true. So to start off, can you tell us what is Chat GPT?
That is such a good question because it's gotten kind of convoluted what Chat GPT is. So AI, artificial intelligence, is sort of a catch-all term. And let me be clear, I am not a developer, so I'm going to give layman's terms. I'm not going to go into, this as a developer might. So that's my caveat here.
That's fine. You're looking at layman right here.
Yes. Yay. We're all on the same page. Okay. So artificial intelligence, AI, is a catch-all for apps that can perform complex tasks that used to require human input or intervention. So AI is in our lives all over the place. If it can be in any of our assistive devices like Alexa and Google and all of the ways that we're talking back and forth with machines, that's AI. You can play chess with AI bots, right? You can do so many things now using AI that it's crept into our world. And now Chat GPT is a brand name for a type of AI. So it's like a subset of AI. It's driven by artificial intelligence that allows you to have human-like conversations, and it remembers the conversation and can give more and more context as you deepen the question. So you start out in the app, and it's free, by the way, everybody can test it out. You start out in the app and it doesn't know anything about what you want. So you put it, you can pose questions to it or ask it to do things like plan a vacation to Italy. It's going to be 10 days. It's going to be in these locations. Where should I stay? What should I eat? And it's pretty cool that it spits back something. It's also great for some marketing tasks that can help you write rough drafts and social media posts and that kind of thing. It's a really cool tool. in theory.
And with everything good, there's a bad side.
Right.
Yes, with everything good, there's a bad side. And right now, the problem is it's being released, and more companies are using versions of AI and Chat GPT that we're putting the cart before the horse in terms of safety. And do we even know? Developers don't even know what all Chat GPT can do, because it's learning every day. It's learning from all the input we're giving it. It's learning as more websites are available to it. We don't know what it can do, really. And developers many of them are holding up the flag and saying, hey, we need to slow this down. This is moving faster than we can even comprehend. And for safety reasons, for safety of the world reasons, we need to slow this down. And it's real.
Mhm.
I like how you mentioned how it crept into our lives. I was watching a few webinars and videos on AI, and to me it was like, oh, this just came about. This is just sprung out. And then they were given examples like Alexa. But one thing that I used a lot, and I never even thought that it was AI, was not even, now I can't even think of the name. You know, when you're sending a text or you're writing an email that prompts what they think you're going to say, and you hit tab or enter, and
Yeah.
it's like, that's AI. And I was like, wow, I never even realized that. And that's been around, I don't even know how long. Spell check has been around. And did you mean this? And then you click it and it changes the format for you. It's been here, and I didn't even know.
It's been here. And then there's all the chat bots that companies are using on websites where, the little pop-up shows up and says, can I help you with anything? And that's also a form of AI where, they want to take the burden off of real people to do the beginning point. It feels like everybody has chat bots, the big corporations, and they all want you to use it. See if you can get help that way.
I hear you.
Mm.
So
Sometimes I just like a real person.
I always
think we
like a
all
real
do.
person. I never just have a basic question. It seems
No,
Always
I
some
know.
convolutedness to it.
Yes.
So I take it it's super easy to use.
It's very easy to use. And at this point, there's lots of articles on how to write great prompts so that you get good answers back. If you want it to do a marketing, like a social media type post, you say, pretend you're a social media brand expert and write this post with these topics with this audience, right? You'd be very specific. And when it comes back, you can further refine it to say, okay, the language was a little fluffy. Can you now make it more conversational or more professional? So you can play back and forth with it. And it's fun to play with. You don't know what it's going to spit out. And the curiosity makes you want to do it more. It's fun to play with.
How does this work with plagiarism? Because it's
Okay.
just for you.
So we're moving into some of the challenges, huh, Polly?
That crossed my mind because we cite a lot of things here, and we're conscious of that. But if you're not really citing something from an official document, it was created for you. So it's
yes, there's so many problems with this. One is, you're right, you don't know where information is coming from. Also, some of the information that Chat GPT and other AI is pulling is incorrect. It's wrong. And it's already causing problems, because it will say something as if it were a real news story and come to find out it's not. There's been a lot of stories in the news lately about chatbots gone wrong. There was an eating website. What was it? There was an eating website where it was, I can't remember the details. It'll come to me. There's a lot of problems right now with knowing whether or not the information is accurate. And from an educator perspective, I'm in schools all the time, and teachers are asking, how are we going to deal with this next year? This year, we're going to get through the year. Next year, it's going to have all summer to get better.
Right.
And what are we going to do in the fall when some of the anti-plagiarism apps aren't able to catch when kids are using Chat GPT? How are we going to either accept that Chat GPT is here to stay and teach kids, or try to block it? Like, it's going to change education just because it's here and it's rolled out and anybody can use it and it's free.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so you don't know what websites it's getting its information from. Whereas if you're doing a Google search, you can say, oh, this is a reliable source, or check a couple different sources. This, you're just sort of taking it for its word.
Right.
Yes, because it doesn't give you citations. There are other AI tools that are being built that do give you citations, and they give you more ways to fact check easily. Right now, this is not one of them.
What would you say is the allure for everyone grasping and navigating towards this?
The allure is talking to AI, is talking to this nebulous thing that is going to pull something out and you just don't know what it is. It's curiosity. It's, oh, can I do my job faster, better, more efficiently? It's for a student, for someone who's in school using this as a tool. Can I get it to help outline my essay, my term paper? What am I forgetting to mention that's important? Like, it's curiosity more than anything.
I know probably a few months ago, my kids were making fun pictures, photos. They'd be like, oh, use a picture of our cat and make her a fairy on a mountain. And it was kind of fun, you know, it was fun, you know, but.
Yes. And that's something else we should talk about, because it's fun when you know that you're spoofing, right? It's fun when you know that this is not real. It's less fun, and it's actually dangerous if you don't know where the photo came from. Do you remember maybe 2 months ago now that picture of the Pope in the white puffy jacket that had everybody concerned? Is this a real photo? What's he doing in this really trendy jacket? Or is this some sort of AI that we just don't know? Like, there was this whole controversy over it, whether it was real or not.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's our future. We're not going to know.
Was it real?
It wasn't real.
There was one recently where it showed a picture of, it was a Trump picture hugging.
It was hugging Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
Oh, yes.
Kissing, I think. Yeah.
Right. And it was like, wow, is this real? Did
you think that was real?
I haven't seen the picture. I saw the article, but they didn't show the picture, but I saw the article, and it was, and the article said that they were hugging, and it was like, wow. But if I would have saw that, knowing that, Fauci was there when Trump was in office, I'm pretty sure I would have thought, they probably, before the whole COVID thing, or maybe during, it could have happened, but
hugging during COVID.
Well, we got a fact checker over here.
Stick with her.
They were in the office around the same time, so I would have believed that could have happened.
It could have happened, exactly. Yeah. That's the problem, is many things are plausible, and as we get into our next political cycle, I think we're already there. For political reasons, more and more AI will be used to try to trick us, to make us think a candidate actually did this, or, the news cycle goes so fast these days that it's going to be hard to refute things that are not true in a timely manner.
Right.
So there is a difference between photoshopping and AI, but they must be getting pretty close to similar, because I would have thought the Pope in a puffy jacket would have been a Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so last year.
I'm not sure. I'm thinking that with Photoshop, you're going to have to search, find the photos, find the right angles, and then try to start cropping things. As for AI, you could type in what you want to see, and that work would be done. Am I on the right track?
You are. Yeah. Yep.
I can't do Photoshop, but I can probably.
Scary.
Yes, your kids could show you how to do this, and it's
Everyone
not
can
hard,
find
and it's
getting
fun.
All these crazy photos now.
Yes.
Sounds
So
like-
while we're talking about pictures, can you imagine what the trouble kids could get into if they were, taking a picture of someone at school and, putting a head of that person on a naked person, or, like there's all of these ways that we can use AI for cyberbullying, for shaming other people, for getting people in trouble when it didn't actually happen. There's all of these ways that adults are going to get in trouble. And then there's this whole other layer to why are we giving kids these tools without some safety built in?
Is there a such thing as responsible innovation, in your opinion, when it comes to AI?
Boy, that's a big question. I think the cat's out of the bag, and it's going to be impossible to short term to get it managed. The thing is, we're still a couple of generations back. We haven't even put standards around social media companies and the algorithms and all of those issues. So that's like layer one. And then layer two is the metaverse. We haven't tackled the metaverse and how to make that safe for kids. Big open questions there. And now we've got this third layer, this AI or Chat GPT layer of we're giving everyone access to these tools that can be used for good, or they can be used really badly, with less and less ways to see if to easily see if they're fake or real, and fewer ways to see if it's plagiarized or not. It feels like it's not responsible. What's happening is the cart before the horse. It's way too much innovation without having any standards or safety protocol in place. And it's a worldwide problem.
Right. Right.
Do you see any safe ways for kids to use AI and Chat GPT?
Well, here's the thing. It's already rolled out. So Chat GPT is already out. We already have a social media company who's using a version of that in their chat. Snapchat has put AI into their messaging system. So at the top of your chat screen, you'll see my AI. That's artificial intelligence, and you can play back and forth within Snapchat, just like you could in Chat GPT. So anybody who has Snapchat now has an AI thing. So it's rolled out. Other companies, other social media companies will get on the bandwagon, because that's what happens when somebody makes a splash. Everybody else has to do it too. So as far as responsibly using it, right now there's no oversight, and kids are on Snapchat without parents being able to see the messages. So that would be huge in my mind, would be give parents the ability to see what's going on in messages so that they can intervene when they need to. Kids will know, they already do, many teenagers already do know about Chat GPT and how it can help them with homework. So we can't not talk about the elephant in the room. As we're educators and parents, we have to bring it up. We have to tell kids what our standards are, what the consequences are if they get caught plagiarizing. All of those things are now a part of the conversation that we really need to have.
I mean, I think there was a time when we thought the internet was going to be considered cheating with their homework, and now we figured out ways to use it as a tool and teach them how to use it as a tool. So hopefully we can get there with AI.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So reports are saying that there'll be a crackdown on AI technology if it starts to run amok. Do you think that it's too late for that type of thing to happen?
It's already running amok. There's lots of stories about especially with kids, about bad things that have happened. a story that's on another podcast, we can link to it if you want, is there was this test account for a 13-year-old girl, actually an adult male, who was testing Snapchat's AI and going back and forth. So he's pretending he's a 13-year-old girl and talking about how she's going to have a romantic night with her new boyfriend. Oh, by the way, my boyfriend's 18 years older than me. Okay, red flag, yikes. If you're a human. But the AI was congratulating her for having a boyfriend, having someone who cares about her, totally missed the context of this is a 13-year-old. And the conversation went on to there, to how do I make this a romantic night? What can I do? It's going to be our first time. All of these red flags, and the AI did not catch any of the clues. So that is the biggest problem at this point with any of this AI stuff, is that it's not human. It doesn't understand context. It doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have the ability to get an adult involved, and it doesn't know when to get an adult involved when we're talking about kids. And that is the scariest part. The thing that we need to fix first is, if kids are going to use this, we need to have adult oversight and a way for AI to recognize when adults need to be involved.
So you don't need parental consent to use it. Do you have to at least signify that you're over a certain age, even though you could probably lie? Or you could just go on the internet and use it?
You can just go on the internet and use it. And for Snapchat, anybody, if they're 8 or 9, they can get a Snapchat account by saying they're 13. So it's all ages at this point.
Scary.
It is. How, as a parent, how do you have this conversation about AI, about Chat GPT, without making it sound like, like if I'm talking to my child and I'm telling, well, if I find out that you're using this for term papers, and without it sparking, I could use this for term papers. How do you have this conversation? How do you openly talk about it? Like, what are your suggestions to a parent?
Be curious first, find out what they know before you start with your thing. So, for someone who's 10 or older, do you know anybody who's using Chat GPT? Have your teachers talked about it? Did you see the picture of the Pope? If they haven't, it's a great way to start the conversation about how do we know what's real and what's not real. Have you played with the photo editors that are AI that can do these types of things just by typing in a few words? Find out what they know already. Have you tried the Snapchat AI? Most teens have, and Snapchat's reviews, their stars went down quite a bit when they released it, because it's creepy. It is creepy, and people realize it's creepy. So that's good news. But start out with curiosity, find out what they know, and then say, have you thought about the ethics of this? Have you thought about, who owns this stuff? If you use it for a term paper and you're not citing sources, how is this going to affect you? How are you going to understand how to write a paper if the goal is college or at some sort of workplace after high school? How are you going to know how to do this stuff? What do you think is appropriate? Asking lots of questions, coming up with solutions together, and collaborating, using Chat GPT together. Let's see if it can plan our family vacation, or what's it like to play chess with, or millions of ways you can use it together. Tell me a story from, or write me a story from SpongeBob's SquarePants' point of view. Like, you can be crazy with it and see what happens. There's lots of ways to introduce the idea without having you be the heavy, without having you have all the answers, because honestly, none of us have all the answers when it comes to this. It's such it's an unknown that's growing every day, that's changing and becoming better every day. So just being curious is the best way to start, and not having all the answers, and just being humble.
Could you give us some examples of how youth could abuse this tool?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Um,
without giving away too much.
That's the thing, right?
You know?
Yeah, I know you have an adult audience, and it's important not to. Yeah, so for anyone using these tools, you can ask it to write code that can hack into people's computers, right? You can ask it to do things that it used to take a really smart person to be able to do. Now anybody can use AI and have codes that can make bad things happen, or we mentioned from the photo perspective that it can be used for cyberbullying, or to make a person feel bad for whether it's adding nudity or changing the situation of the original picture they were in, getting them in trouble for drinking when they weren't. There's a lot of, I mean, the sky's the limit for the combos that you can do. And as we know from social media harms, kids' brains aren't developed, and they don't have that, if I do this, then this is going to happen. There's a consequence to it, as much developed as, 25 and older people. So it's an uphill battle to make them see some of the things that could go wrong. And also when it's funny, right? I've got my quotes on. When it's funny to one person, it's hard to see how it can be harmful to another. Right. Without a lot of conversations and social norms that say this is not appropriate.
Is there a filter or some kind of other website that you can run things through to see if they're real?
I don't know about to see if they're real. I know lots of schools have anti-plagiarism software that they use. And I wonder how much longer that will be effective also.
Well, I did in some research, I have seen that there's, and I remember I attended a webinar where they're saying that there are apps, there is software that you can run a report through to see if it's AI generated. And then in the same breath said, and now they're working on apps that'll detect if your app has detected that this is AI generated to show that it's not AI generated. So
this is crazy making.
Exactly. So, but overall, do you feel parents should be concerned about this, the advancement of AI and Chat GPT?
I think every human on the planet should be concerned. It is a health risk. It is a worldwide safety risk because we haven't developed standards yet. And this is a really powerful tool that's developing every day. And when the developers, go out and say, hey, we need to stop this for a minute and make sure we have some standards in place, I want to pay attention because they know this stuff better than anybody else. So it's a human concern, not just parents. Parents should be concerned and have lots of conversations about Chat GPT and what their expectations are for cheating and plagiarism and that kind of thing. But really, the big risk that's unique to that hits kids in a bigger way is that lack of consciousness and ability to see red flags that we were talking about. There's also bias because there's bias in the internet overall. Everything that the AI is scraping is also biased, perhaps not correct, as we've talked about, but that lack of human conscience is my biggest concern for kids.
I think another thing is important. I know we've said Chat GPT a lot during this podcast, but it's not just Chat GPT. There are far many more apps. So
Yeah. It's not that this is the one bad guy. This is a brand name.
Right.
And everybody's coming up with their own version of this. Google is working on their Bard, which is, a really sophisticated search engine that will be like ChatGPT's type of search. It'll have context. It'll be conversational, easy to use. Microsoft has their Bing that's off and running. Everybody's working on this, and social media companies, I am sure, are also working on their versions of this, and Snapchat already rolled theirs out.
Glad my kids are young adults now, Greg. I'm sorry.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Oh,
Yeah, I can definitely see at least one of mine trying this for a paper. I could definitely see that
I bet
happening.
Well, yeah, and you get to talk about what's appropriate and what your expectations are, and hopefully the school is in alignment with you, right? Hopefully there's alignment there, and hopefully there's a lot of education. Kids more than ever need digital media. They need media literacy. They need a curriculum that goes from kindergarten to 12th grade that is robust and that talks about these things. Not in a lecturing way, but in a way of, here's the great stuff about this, here's how to use it properly, and here's some really bad uses of it that you don't want to go down that, with ethics and social emotional learning built in, so that it's all this teaching how to do things properly, and having social norms develop in this thing we've never had to have social norms on.
Right. I'm gonna have to bust out my old encyclopedias. make sure I want to make sure the reports come from here.
Go back a couple of decades. Yeah. You're not going to be popular.
Their sightings will be, this was out in 1986.
Yeah. Nothing's changed since then. We're all good.
I know someone in the office did use it. They had 75 locations they had to deliver something to around here. They put the addresses in, and it gave them the most effective route to deliver everything.
Wow.
Which I thought was a good use of Chat GPT. Because I would have been, driving all over the place.
Right.
So, like all tools, there's good and bad, and we all have to learn how to use them responsibly. And
for sure.
our part is teaching our kids how to use them responsibly.
That's right.
Yes. So schools need to have their policies lined up for next year. They should be thinking about this over the summer. Teachers, I am sure, are already thinking about this, because many of them have already been impacted by a term paper that looked too good to be true, let's say, right? And parents need to plug into schools, know what the policies are, and have conversations at home.
I feel sorry for that student who really did put that effort in, and now has a possibility of being critiqued like, this is too good to be true.
There's a silver lining to this, potentially, that kids at school will be less on devices. How there's a 1-to-1 device to student ratio in a lot of districts. Many teachers are looking at this and saying, well, if I don't want them to use Chat GPT, if I want them to learn how to write a term paper, they're going to do it in class, and they're going to use a paper and a pencil, right? Or they're going to only have one thing open at a time, and teachers can control that in many circumstances. So the silver lining is there may be less device use. There may be more concentration in class instead of homework outside of class. So that to me is a good thing, and a way to have some screen time reduced potentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Another one.
Yeah. I'm going to be thinking things all day, Greg. I'm going to be like going down to Greg's office.
Have you both tried it?
I have.
I have not. I've watched someone do it. So, I guess I've tried it, but yeah.
I have. I'm amazed at the speed.
Yes.
I have toyed around with a few of the image makers, the AI image apps, and it is quick. It is I will say amazing. I don't really like to use the word all the time, but
Mhm.
it is amazing that something that might have taken a person a little while to create, to think of, to be like, oh, it can be done in a split moment. But I have learned that you get out what you put into it. So if you
Yeah,
just,
you definitely don't want to use the first draft.
right, if you just put a quick description, you'll get that quick result. But if you put an in-depth description in, you get quite the result that may have taken someone a little while to actually come up with. So
Yeah. You might want to use it for podcast summaries.
yeah, that is true.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that this AI stuff is bad, because apparently we've been using it for some time. But yeah, I could see it being good, but I could also see that there could be some dangers in there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we need to think through, and we can leave it at that. I think we need some standards, just like we need standards in social media.
Absolutely.
Well, so again, never disappointing. Always up for the challenge and raising the bar every single time we have you on, Lisa. We greatly appreciate all the time. But before you go, can you please just give us your contact information for people who'd like to reach out?
Yes, I travel all over the place talking about things like AI and Chat GPT. Got two things on my mind this morning, and social media and talking with parents and educators. So you can find me at centerforonlinesafety.com. I would love to connect.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has
Thank
been eye-opening. And I'm predicting a picture of Greg in a white puffy coat by later on this afternoon.
I dare you to do that, Polly. I would love to see that.
I love it. Even if I have to get scissors out or whatever. they'll be-
Oh my gosh, putting the three of us in white puffy coats would be even better. Let's make that happen.
All right.
All right, good to talk to you both.
Same here.
Thanks,
You take
Lisa.
care. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Polly, and you've just listened to Totally Preventable.
Totally preventable.